Hello, everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere. There's going to be a portion or a live version of this going down. Welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson. And hopefully, you all are doing great out there already. It is bright and early. It is a little earlier than we normally come on, but that's okay. We try to come on at 412, but here we are. Hopefully, we got some of our regulars on here today. What up, Dennis? Welcome to the show, buddy. Oh, man. What a whirlwind. What a world, man. I just can not seem to not say that whenever we get here. What a world. What a world. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the follows. And once you get here, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead. Excuse me. Go ahead and like, share, and follow. And that helps us out, pushes us to the masses. All right. So a lot has happened. We did a 4 hour whirlwind tour yesterday. Good morning, Liz. How are we? Our favorite MP on the show today. I know you've been feeling a little rough, and hopefully we can change that for you. So we're going to talk about some cool stuff today, I hope. Um, like I said, we did a 4 hour tour yesterday. It's 2 hours to get to our destination up in northwest Arkansas, up in Gentry. And just to pick up a planer, if you don't know what a planer is, that's for woodworking. It makes all your boards the same thickness. You send your piece of wood through this machine and it chews it up. It makes it all the same thickness. Very cool tool to have in your woodworking arsenal. And we've been wanting one for a while. What up, Tom? How is it going? Hopefully, is this the Tom Pearl? Yeah, we know. We've seen your videos, bud. And I'm trying to figure out whether. Oh, that's what that is about. I know what that's about. Yeah, Liz. Yeah. I don't know if it's the official guy or not, but it's kind of coincidental that he's on here today. But that's okay. Um. So yeah, we marketplace is our friend, and it is like you can find some cool stuff on there on a regular basis, and you can find free stuff. That's where I get a lot of my building material for the homestead. And it's like whenever people getting rid of stuff, especially building material, tin, metal, wood, things of that nature, we're all about it. We like to get it and stockpile it. That's why I'm taking all of the stuff that I've picked up from those four buildings that I was talking about that last month when I did that. I guess it was almost a full month of demoing those buildings, those four buildings down. I'm getting all the nails and screws out of it, and then I'm stacking it in the back 40 of our property by the garden for use later on, which means pretty soon, because I'm getting ready to seal in our old greenhouse that's attached to the shop and garage, and we are going to. Wow, the characters that come on, especially bright and early in the morning. Like I said, you wouldn't make it 10 feet inside my house, guaranteed. All right, so yes, 100%, absolutely. Isn't everybody? Liz, where do you find these people, man? No, actually, Dennis, this is Jessica Rabbit with Roger Rabbit in tow, right here. Boom, boom, boom. Another piece of my artwork, right there. Yeah, Liz did. She's going to be getting it in a few days. She's already thanked you for that purchase, Kyle. Um, apparently this is the same guy that was on the other day under a different name. See, I told you. Liz has it. Who's going to be getting it in the next few days? So the whole thing is self sufficiency, is what you are shooting for, and hold on just a second. Oh, there goes my microphone. That's the bad thing about some of these microphones. You guys get to hear all the shit that goes on. Give me just 1 second. Liz, talk to the masses for me. I got to do something real fast. All right. Okay. So, here's what's going to happen with you, bud. You're gone. We don't play that shit, you know? Some people, man. Some people, man. And then we're going to do the same right here because this is just fucking stupid, man. All right. But Liz, yeah, exactly. Liz thanks you for those purchases that you guys are sending to her. She is much appreciative of those. And this is the shit we deal with. And it's not just me. Apparently, other creators have to deal with the same shit on a regular basis. And that's what it is. I mean, little boys and little girls that come on here and try to disrupt shows with bullshit things that they're saying and doing. It's just kind of ridiculous. Kind of grow up. No, I didn't. I was taking care of something else. I did not see it. Let me go back and see that one because I saw his other shit that he was putting on here, which is derogatory. Wow. Okay. And yet another one. See, this is the bad part about these people that come on and do this shit. They have multiple accounts. And exactly. And this is why people put in certain keywords that don't get to come through on their lives, you know. And I'm going to have to start doing that for certain things because of jackasses like this. So, Yesterday, 4 hours, not technically wasted. It was like, yeah, we had to drive 2 hours one way just to get this planer. And now we got to tinker with it just a little bit. Got some breakaway for it because it is a little rusted. It is an older model, but it still works great. Turned it on, put some, put a 2x4 through it, did what it was supposed to do. And go ahead, Jennifer. What do you got to ask us? And paid, and then we left. Again, 4 hour trip just for one piece of machinery. And sometimes you got to do that. So let's see what Jennifer's got for us this morning because she's probably one of those other ones that's already been on. So between the artwork, homesteading, and all that good stuff, this is other stuff that you get to deal with as well. Let's see, what movie did I watch yesterday morning? It was a vampire flick. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. Again, it was from like the 1960s, 1970s. Well, see, that's perfect. Liz, what do you do for? I don't think we touched on that subject. What do you do? Because you're active military, right? We did determine that, right? Oh, you're National Guard. Okay, so you have a regular job as well. What do you do? Because I know you said you were on your feet. What is your regular job? Did Mr. Roy Boy wake up? Oh, see, that's pretty cool, right there. No wonder you work weird hours. I mean, it's not weird 7 o'clock in the morning for you, um, but that is bright and early for that. Good morning, buddy. What's up, man? Mr. Roy has hit the building. Dixon, happy birthday, man. Yeah, me too. I think it probably had to do something with the cheese grater or one of the other things that they've already popped up on here with. So don't forget to like, share, and follow as you get here. We are going to be talking about some cool stuff here in a little bit. No, we're just going to stick with the Dixon right there because I know what you're trying to do, Lawrence. This ain't my first rodeo. Jesus. Let's go with Bart Simpson, okay? Calling in the calls to the bar. Jesus, people. Oh, let me get clever and put in my keywords. Turner Classic Movies. I haven't watched that in a long time. Since I don't have cable and I don't pay for extra stuff like that, I know. I think Turner is on streaming devices, aren't they? I could be wrong. What is your fascination with butt plugs? That's what I want to know. I mean, especially rechargeable ones. It's like lithium batteries do explode. You know that, right? Haven't you seen Teslas when they go rogue? Oh my lord! I thought everybody was because apparently everybody that's coming on this morning is very knowledgeable on butt plugs. So, you know, Jensen probably has a collection. All right. See, Liz has the most knowledge on them. She can teach you anything you want to know. Yeah, there you go. All right. So, today's topic, and let's talk about it, is all about who's your favorite? Who is your favorite comic book character of all time? Turner Classico. Yeah, I haven't watched the Turner Classics in a long time. The last time I had it was when I did have cable, and that's been many years ago. And Turner Classics, that's where all of the Turner movie classics are around. Um, all of your older movies and things like that. But Ted Turner, the one that started that back in the day, let's just if it will wake the fuck up. There we go. So it's on TCM.com, was where you can watch that. TurnerClassicMovies.com. Apparently, if you don't have, but that's where. So it is a pay television channel now, owned by Warner Brothers. Launched in '94. It's based out of Atlanta, Georgia. Bum, bum, bum. Let's see what else it has to say. This isn't our topic today. This is just what was brought up so far. Hey Liz, Jensen is asking you a question there. Metro Goldwyn Mayer MGM purchased it. United Artists. 3 years later, in '84, Ted Turner looked to acquire a library of entertainment programming. So there you go. I'm trying to see. It's not telling me, but it's got all the classics from MGM and but it spans several decades of cinema and includes thousands of film titles before it launched in '94. It included pre 1986 MGM and RKO films, as well as 1948 Warner Brother films. So anything that predates 1950 is on there. 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and some earlier stuff. Um, I'm trying to see. They're not showing me what all the movies that are on there, but they do have the TCM collection vault. So, are you schooling Jensen there, L? Because apparently he's wanting to get into butt plugs. But there you go. If you want to go see what it's all about, you can go to tcm.com, and there you go. Interesting. Interesting. All right. So, who is your favorite? I'm teaching him the ways. Well, there you go. There, you guys are spooling your secrets right there. All right. So, who's your favorite comic book character of all time? Who is your favorite? Well, I understand that, but you got your favorite comic book movies and things like that, don't you, Liz? As many people do, because that's where most people get their knowledge of comic books is from the movies. Because there's a lot of people that have never picked up a comic book in their life, and their knowledge solely comes from what they see in the movies. Oh, Riverdale, yep, the Archie comics from back in the day. Um, moving some artwork around. Make mine Marvel always. The Incredible Hulk is Roy's, as we already knew. For those of you that have been on the channel any length of time, that is his go-to favorite. Um, Now, as according to some research, the top selling is the best one. Now, according to the sales alone, you've got Superman, who has sold over 600 million copies since his debut in 38. And then you've got Batman, who has sold around 500 million copies since 39. And then you've got Spider Man, has sold over 400 million copies since his debut. Now, that doesn't include manga or anime, which is, well, manga is the book side, which One Piece has sold nearly 600 million copies of its what they call a tankobon copies since 1997, which makes it rivaling or exceeding traditional superhero totals in a much shorter time because he's only been out since 97 with his books. And so from there, manga is quickly outselling the American comic in a lot of ways, which is kind of cool because they do make a lot of great stuff. Watch. Oh, that's what I watched. Girl with a Chainsaw, which is on Tubi, and it was pretty cool. And yeah, it's a campy take on your whole anime based off of a manga book, and so it was fun to watch. So Liz, there's a recommendation for you. Go watch Girl with a Chainsaw on Tubi. It was a fun watch, 100%. Now, I don't agree with this person's top 100 list, but they've got some cool characters in here. Because my number one would definitely not be Superman. I can't stand Superman, just like Captain America. Can't stand Captain America. Never been my favorites. When they did the whole death of Superman, I wish they would have just left it there. And it's like, but no, they had to resurrect him in a form of what? Six different comic books to come back? No, no, not a good thing. And then of course Captain America has changed hands multiple times. And then of course they did end his run in the movies. But yes, yeah, definitely check it out. But Batman would be my top one there besides Wolverine. Wolverine is above Spider Man and is above even Batman. But they've got Superman, Batman, Spider Man, Wolverine as their top four. And then Wonder Woman hits their top five list. And then, of course, like I said, Captain America. Could care less. Yep, yep, yep. Just like, you know, right here, me as Wolverine, right there. Bum, bum, bum. A piece of my artwork right there. Based off the #1 cover of Wolverine. That's not what the pose was from, but once I posed for the picture, it was like, oh, I see that. And it goes in correspondence with my one of my original designs from back in the day when I created myself as Forge, which I don't readily see that right here. It was right here at one point in time, but I didn't see it right now. Right now, yeah, I don't quite see it right here, but that's all good. If you know, you know. And so Wolverine is my top favorite of all time, just because of his anger issues. That's a lot like me. I keep it in check a lot. So then they got Hal Jordan. If you don't know who Hal Jordan is, that is the Green Lantern, um, who was portrayed by Ryan Reynolds in a. It wasn't horrible Green Lantern movie that he was in, but it wasn't great either. Um, it showed a more serious side of Ryan Reynolds, instead of his campy, fun Deadpool role that he plays on the Marvel side. Now, then it goes to Wally West. If you don't know who Wally West is, that's the Flash for those of you that are playing along. And then, of course, they come in at their #9 with the Hulk. There you go. Harley, what's up? How is it going out there? And then you've got Daredevil rounds out their top 10. Now, the Flash still isn't one of my favorite characters. I know a lot of people love him just because super speed and all that good stuff, and can make I'm great, except for some of the people I've already had to block on this morning's broadcast. Um, but that's just how it goes. And with that, that's the top 10 that they've got. Now, in correspondence to things, that would not be my top 10 list. Period. I'd have more X Men up there from the Uncanny X Men from 1963. Beast would be up in there. Of course, Jean Grey. Jean Grey makes their list, but she's a little bit farther down. The Watchmen was a great movie, based off of Alan Moore's artwork in the books for DC Comics, and they did a whole bunch more character insights because they broke out each character in their own comic book as well. So you got the comedian and Lady, what was it, Lady Silk. You had Rorschach. Rorschach makes their list over here, as well as some other ones, and we'll get into that here in just a minute. But that's their top 10 list. Out of the top 10 that they've got, who is your favorite so far? Again, Wolverine, Batman for me. Daredevil is in there, but he's not even a close 10 to me. I mean, he's a great character, uh, especially since he has no sight and uses sonar like a bat or a dolphin. But very, very great insightful character. One that was created a long, long time ago with his yellow and black suit, which was yellow and blue back in the day because printing, they could only do so much. Now you've got every color of the rainbow. Taste the rainbow. All right, so the top 10 that they've got: Superman, crap. Batman, awesome. Spider Man, okay. Just because teenage loudmouth, some of you can relate to that. Wolverine, awesome. Wonder Woman, okay. Captain America, crap. Hal Jordan, okay. Wally West, crap. Hulk, good. I can relate. And Daredevil, okay. I loved how I found out from a magazine to look back for secret clues to what happened. Absolutely. Spider-Man is over, or yeah, Spider-Man is overrated. And I know the new movie's out now, Brand New Day, and a lot of people are loving it. I haven't seen a bad review on it yet, so Seriously, Superman is great today. Well, I mean, I get it. People love Superman. I've never liked the character. Ever since I was introduced into comic books, it's just a mundane character. Yeah, he came from a distant world where uh, on their planet, Krypton, the sun made them normal people. And once they got to our yellow sun here on Earth, it gave them superpowers. Okay, wow. It's just like Steve Rogers, Captain America. Ooh, let's shoot him up, and oh, now I'm a super soldier because I'm a junkie. You know, um, Batman is better because he is a plot and storyline, and he's a regular person. He has no superpowers. He's got money. You know. Yes, the kryptonite that is his Achilles heel. Um, and if you know the comic book lore, Supergirl is technically an alien, not like Superman is an alien. I mean, she's an alien and has no form. She took the form of a human, and that's a whole different story ballpark altogether in that one. Um, and I'm not even really a big Supergirl fan. The only reason people got into Supergirl was thanks to Michael Turner before he passed. He did an awesome run on the Supergirl line. Great covers, just like J. Scott Campbell does great covers for that, for DC and stuff like that as well. I think Spider Man is great. He never wanted superpowers originally, but came to love it. Yeah, he got bit by a radioactive spider. How are you gonna? How can you avoid that? You know, you're a teenage kid uh, going through this facility, and here comes this radioactive spider, comes down, bites you on the hand, and boom, now you've got superpowers of a spider. You know, yep, in a lab. And that's the lore for that whole thing. All right. So then we're going to go with our next 10, per se. We don't talk about religion or politics here. And I'm very open minded when it comes to that stuff. Yes, and he was definitely bullied. And he got his revenge on his bullies. And that's what bullies need today. Most of the time, no, they didn't. Um, just like Batman didn't want the responsibility of carrying the weight of his parents and fighting criminals, but that's what he did because that's all that consumed him was getting revenge on Fantastic Four. Anyone? They're a good group. I mean, they definitely didn't want those powers, especially going through space and getting the cosmic rays. Books on the top right. You mean right here? No, all those are action figures. And there you go. See, no Pope or Trump. All my books are actually right behind here. And this isn't all my books. I actually have a library in my house. This is just stuff that I keep close to home right here because it's my favoriteest stuff. I've got first edition Anne Rice over here, Interview with the Vampire. I've got my Clive Barker collection over here because he's my favorite author of all time. I've got my Terry Brooks down here. I've got my Frank Herbert. Well, Terry Brooks are over here. Sword of Shannara, if you don't know who they are or who he is. Dune, which is Frank Herbert. If you've seen Dune in any way, shape, or form. And, and then, of course, a novel that I'm on right down here. This whole stack is Sour Worlds. And I appreciate it. This is my art room in my house. And you're looking at my artwork. These glow under black light, all three of these. This is a actual print based off of the painting I did, which is sitting in the next room by the action figures over here. My statues aren't up yet, but once I get this all done, exactly, that's what I was saying. Batman is a regular dude that has a lot of money, has great tech, and yes, actually, I've got a TV set up right over here while I'm doing my artwork over here, which is one of my pieces I'm working on right now. A huge, massive 18 by 24 piece, 18 by 24 inches. God of War piece. I'm doing all the heavy detail right now on this middle section where the armor is, where he's fighting all the creatures from God of War. Not all of them, but quite a few. As they're attacking these three characters in the middle. This is actually the person. Damn it! I'm gonna knock this damn thing off again. This is the actual person that actually commissioned this piece. He wanted to be in there with Kratos, and I can't remember this guy's name. I can never remember this guy. Kiryu. There you go. From a mafia ninja game of some sort. Yep, Kratos, absolutely. But I throw movies on my TV over here while I'm doing my artwork. Especially, I throw on stuff that I know basically 100%, so I don't have to stop and watch the show. I can listen to it and know exactly where it is in the movie. And once I get this redone, I'm actually pushing that wall out back here that's got my Adam West autograph on it right there. Boom, 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 3 times. I'm pushing that wall out about 140 feet and expanding the office. So, do I eat in here? Absolutely. It's not a sterile environment, if you will. Because I've got my poor floors are terrible. They've got paint and um, epoxy and all kinds of other stuff on the floors. From paint, epoxy, and no food crumbs. Yes, Don. Too bad we can't talk. We're talking right now. But I do commissions all the time, like this bane to my existence right here. This is a memorial piece that's still a pain in my ass. The person that commissioned it still hasn't even paid the half payment on it yet. I don't play video games anymore. I basically stopped playing video games back in 2017. But this is Stitch Witch. It's a memorial piece for a friend of ours. He was her boss, and I was a friend of hers. And I'm I'm this close, and it's getting closer every day to refunding his money and letting somebody else buy this. No, he hasn't even paid half payment of this yet, and this started in February, and I gave him a good discount on it, and he still hasn't even gotten to half payment yet. The last payment he sent me and basically said in the tagline was um, better something than nothing, and it was a $6 payment. So I'm about this close to refunding his penance, alms to the poor, and having somebody else buy it because this is a pretty awesome piece because she loved Stitch and she was also a Wiccan. So I combined her loves together and created Stitch Witch. And I've still got a couple more things to do to it, some shadowing and things like that, and then coloring in the background. And then it's done. So I was expecting, since he's a manager of a business, always goes to show managers ain't shit sometimes, that he would have already paid, because technically $25 a month for 5 months he would have had it paid off. But here we sit, almost 8 months into the year, and here we are. Not even half payment has been made on this piece yet. So I'm giving him I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because I know he supposedly has a lot of shit going on in his personal life. But that's no excuse. You commissioned the piece, pay for the fucking piece. No, I don't drink those, but I do drink, and I'm going to do an ad break right here. V8 Energy Drink, Peach Mango, one of the best flavors they've got because it doesn't taste like chemical shit like the rest of their stuff. If you want a good energy filled piece, go get you some V8 Energy, and V8 Energy be my sponsor, please. And so you can send me Peach Mango on a regular basis, because if you send me any of the other shit, no, it tastes like shit. It tastes chemical. All right. Give me a 5 finger discount. I used to stop people that did 5 finger discounts. Um, my dear. Yeah, I was that guy. I worked for Wally World and I was asset protection. Got to follow people around the store. That secret shopper that you know and love. They knew who I was. I didn't give a shit. And they still did it anyway. And they still got caught and thrown in jail. Make the exception. Make the exception. Liz, you know you're getting a great discount anyway, since you are in the military. So if you ever commission a piece, just know you're getting a great deal. Just like any of my military buds, um, me being a disabled veteran, you know, they I give back because I know the sacrifices that we had to make. I know you've already been overseas at your young age, and you know I was on many deployments. So there you go. All right, the next list of people: Dick Grayson or Nightwing, the original Robin. Iron Man, overrated. Another guy with money who's got a piece of shrapnel almost going to his heart. I already talked about Green Lantern. Green Lantern was in their top 10 list. He fell at number 7, Mr. Hal Jordan. And he's okay. I mean, they could do so much more with that just because the power ring that he does wear gives him great powers. But in the comic books, they never did anything cool with it until much later on. Because in the early days, it was boxing gloves, it was springs, it was all kinds of childish things, if you will, that they used on their villains. And then as it progressed and got more edgy, and they're like, well, we need to change it with the times because they're not going to use boxing gloves on their villains of today. So then they started using weaponry, if you will, created by the ring, and gave it a little bit more power. Now, the ring, you had to have this green lantern and had to power up the ring. Uh, what can you say about that? I've got a glow in the dark ring that I stick into my lantern, and it gives me great powers. Cosmic powers. It's just a. It's just a. I can't even say the word. I'll get a restriction. Um, I'm sure you do. But again, Iron Man at number 12, overrated character, 100%. Another billionaire playboy with money to throw around on gadgetry. Jean Grey. Let's talk about the original X Men. Jean Grey, one of the original X Men right there. And there we go. I have not told anybody to go purchase anything outside of TikTok. So, TikTok, you can fuck straight off. We are going to appeal that. I am not redirecting anybody outside of TikTok because we are talking about comic book characters and who's your favorite. Jean Grey, or the Phoenix, or the Dark Phoenix, or Marvel Girl. She started out as Marvel Girl, and then just went to Jean Grey, and then became the Phoenix in a resurrection story, and then um, she's a one of the Earth's mightiest telepaths. You know, a great character, 100%, because you had Cyclops, her boyfriend, or then soon husband. Yep, yep, but she's still alive. Don't worry, she's still alive, Dennis. Don't worry. Um, and then of course their daughter, um, what was her name? She became the Phoenix too. What the hell was her name? I can't remember off the top of my head. But she became a member of Excalibur, their daughter, from the future. Just like Cable is the son of Jean Grey and Scott Summers. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm great, Leo. How are you doing? And then when I read it, no, I get it. Yeah, I mean, they've killed so many characters, it's not even funny. They even killed Wolverine in the comic books. And, then they did a whole resurrection, Wolverine resurrection, you know? And because in the original storyline, as they progressed it through the years, the adamantium that he got in the Weapon X project began to erode his body and stop his healing factor. And then they, you know, let him die off. And now he's being resurrected and searching for the stones that go into Thanos' glove, all the infinity stones. So, and it's good to know, Leo, that you're okay, because everybody's mental health matters 100%. I'll probably get a restriction for that because I said mental health. All right. Then at number 14, another overrated character, in my opinion, Thor, the god of lightning. I know it's the god of thunder, but, basically it's lightning that he controls. It doesn't control thunder. And then you got Morpheus from Sandman. The dream of the endless is what his true name is. And nobody really knows that unless you are into the Sandman comic books. But Morpheus is his name. Death would be in my top 10. His sister, Morpheus' sister. Great character. One that I based a painting off of that I sold a long, long time ago. Rorschach, number 16 on this list. Rorschach is an interesting character. Again, another guy with no superpowers. Just a regular guy that wants to right the injustice of humanity, basically. If you don't know The Watchmen, Alan Moore, which one of the things we don't talk about here, it's a very political comic book. You can even watch the movie. Well, good. You're back cozy in bed, and you got it's almost 6 o'clock for you. No, it's almost 7 o'clock for you. What am I talking about? Then you got Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, number 17. The Thing, another great character from Fantastic Four. And then you got James Gordon. See, James Gordon wouldn't have even made my top 20 list. You know, yeah, Watchmen is awesome. Even the comic books were spot on, just like Sin City. All the Sin City movies, again, another Alan Moore project or Frank Miller project. Um, Alan Moore helped a little bit. You'll be moving to Texas in October. Awesome. My nephew lives down there in San Antonio. I work 9 a.m. to 5. Oh, okay. Monday through Friday. It sucks. I got you. Yeah, that would suck. But hey, do you love what you do or no? Because if you don't love what you do, you have to change jobs. Just saying. Find something else to do in that medical field. I mean, seriously, you were you were young and you can broaden your horizons with all that. And the military will take care of your schooling. Then you got Catwoman at number 20. See, Catwoman would have been a little bit higher for me. Great fun character, and when she came out as the cat before she was actually, I love it, but I get exhausted. I mean, that's a long shift, especially to be on your feet. You know, when she came out as the cat before she became Catwoman, um, a great concept, cat burglar type, no superpowers. You know, now as they progress, some characters end up getting superpowers. Yep. And when she joined the Hellfire Club, she became um boom 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 to the artwork, to the archives. Right here. Bum, bum. That's what she looked like in the Hellfire Club. And we appreciate every one of them, El. And then you got Emma Frost, the White Queen over here. Yes, I have to cover some parts. She's got a little nip slip going on her outfit. And later on, that became Madeline Pryor as the Goblin Queen. But yes, the Hellfire Club was a great, great series of things which had, all the great villains in there. No, Rogue was not Jean Grey's daughter. No, they had a daughter, and I'm trying to Rachel. Rachel Summers was her name, and she became the Phoenix as well because she had the Phoenix powers thanks to Mommy Jean Grey, who became the Phoenix after her passing and then resurrection. Her metamorphosis, if you will, because she cocooned herself and then she broke out and became the Phoenix. So she was a Spitfire when she came back, to say the least. Now, the next on their list, and we're not going to do their entire 100 list, but they've got number 21, The Spirit. Will Eisner's The Spirit. Will Eisner won many, many awards with his artwork and especially with The Spirit. No, 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 it's not. I've been in comic books since I was a kid, basically, since 1988 is when I first picked up my first comic book. And lo and behold, what was it? This wasn't it, but because it wasn't mine, it was a friend of mine's that had it. This book right here, boom, 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 number 183, was the very first comic book I ever picked up and read, and this was my love for the Uncanny X-Men right here. You can see all the nomenclature up there, the dates, the who it's by, and all that stuff up there. Um, well, the who it's by is back here. Dun, dun, dun. But this was the first. Liz, all I can say is kind words. Yes, this was from back in 1984, and this was the one that got me into the Uncanny X Men. And this is where I fell in love with comic books. A friend of mine had a subscription because with where he lived was where in my grandparents' trailer park, but they all lived there, in their own trailers and stuff like that. And he had a subscription to several different comic books, Uncanny X Men being one of them. And then what else did he have? I can't remember the other stuff, but I was technically only interested in this. In '88, your mom was only 3. Wow, little baby. Did she have you young? But that's where my love of the Uncanny X Men came from. Was that number 183? And the storyline in that one goes Colossus, Peter, Logan, Wolverine, Nightcrawler walk into a bar. No, it's not a joke. My mom had me when she was 20. There you go. She just turned 40. See, I knew she had you young. Um, and they're just wanting to unwind from being superheroes for the day. So they go into a bar to unwind, drink, shoot pool, throw darts, things of that nature. And lo and behold, the Juggernaut shows up, Mariko Kane, and Xavier's brother, Professor X. And all hell breaks loose. Nightcrawler wants to jump in and help Peter, Colossus, and Wolverine's like, not our fight, but, but, if it gets too much for Peter, I'll step in. And that's what happens. They get into a battle, the bar gets destroyed basically. Um, and then you've got Mr. 5'5", Wolverine. He's not 6 foot anything. That's just how they make him look in the movies. Is on the bar looking What was X-Men 182 known for? Mm-mm-mm. I'm trying to think. Oh, what that one? Hold on. I've got it. But that one was 183 that I'm talking about right there. Oh, that's a good cover. That's where Rogue is on the cover of that one. Um, but let me finish the story real fast, and I'll get into that one. She or he, Wolverine's on the bar, looking eye to eye at Juggernaut, and he's got his claws out. And he said, "That's enough. We're done. You can walk away now, or it's going to get worse for you." Kane or Juggernaut leaves the bar, and Wolverine throws a chunk of money at the barkeep and for any damages, which was a lot. And Wolverine made a cameo appearance. That you're thinking of the Incredible Hulk, 180, 181, 182. In 180, the cameo appearance of Wolverine in his yellow and black Canadian costume makes his appearance. Makes his cameo appearance the last panel of 180. 181, the full on rigmarole with Wolverine, and then 182 again a cameo appearance in the first few pages of there. So that's where that is. 182 is best known for a deeply psychological solo story where Rogue's mind is temporarily overtaken by the lingering psyche and memories of Carol Danvers, who she touched, because that's how Rogue gets her powers, while trying to rescue Michael Rosie from a shield helicarrier. So that has nothing to do with what you're thinking of. If you're thinking of Wolverine's cameo appearance and first appearance, that's 180, 181, 182. It's just like everybody thinks Gambit's first appearance is in or is in the comic book of the Uncanny X-Men. It's not. It's actually in their annual number 14. So that is a cameo appearance in one of Mr. Sinister's video screens that you see the cover that they pulled onto that comic book. So he was in Alpha Flight for a hot minute, just like he was in the Avengers for a hot minute. Wolverine has been bounced around from group to group to group. At number 22, they've got Professor X, one of the greatest minds out there when it comes to that. Canada's Avengers, absolutely. Alpha Flight was Alpha Flight, if you get my meaning. They've got Raphael up at number 23, which I don't agree with that, but whatever. Yorick Brown, which most of you don't even know who it would be, but that is from the comic book Y: The Last Man Standing. And then they got Hellboy at number 25. Everybody knows Hellboy. Then you got Rick Grimes from the Walking Dead series. The Walking Dead series. Boom, boom, boom. And then the Punisher at number 27. I would have Punisher up higher. Again, a guy with no superpowers. But lo and behold, alas, they're going to give him some superpowers. It's just like they can't leave a character alone. Because I read somewhere, I saw something go through here, but that they're going to give him some superpowers in like this new era of now. So we'll wait and see what that superpower is. Then you got the Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing and Man Thing have been two of my other favorite characters of all time when it comes to one from Marvel, one from DC. John Constantine. That is a great character because it deals with the paranormal and occult type situations. Um, And then Green Arrow wouldn't have even made my top 50 list. Deadpool comes in at number 31. Another Robin comes in. Tim Drake at 32. Nick Fury at 33. Jesse Custer from Preacher uh, at 34. He is the preacher, basically. Judge Dredd would have been higher up for me. Lobo way would have been higher. He's not even in the top 40 so far. Spawn, Spawn was okay. He'd be a little bit higher. The Crow definitely would be higher. Again, a resurrected soul trying to make right, and not that crappy movie that they made. They're reimagining. Doctor Strange, he probably wouldn't have even made my top 50 list. Cyclops probably wouldn't have made my top 50 list. And Mr. Fantastic rounds out the top 40 right there. Again, another. I'm surprised Sue wasn't higher than she is. I don't even know where she falls on the list. Where does Sue Storm fall? Because the Human Torch comes in at 46. Kitty Pryde from the X-Men 47. Aquaman wouldn't have even made my top 100 list. Where the hell is she? I'm surprised the Tick made the list at 57. Beast, another X-Men at 58. Wow, Sue doesn't even make the list. Gambit, oh, there she is. Invisible Woman makes the list at 66. So, this guy doesn't think very highly of Sue Storm from the Fantastic Four. Gambit even beats her out. But Gambit's a cool character, just not the shitty portrayal that Channing Tatum made in Wolverine and Deadpool. Way too thick of a Cajun accent. Couldn't barely understand a word he said. He needed subtitles. Um, he tried way too hard. But now I hear that they're going to try and give him a solo movie based off of that character. No, thank you. No, thanks. I'm good. Oh, shit. Scott Pilgrim made the list of 69. I'm just trying to say Jonah Hex would have been higher for me. That was actually a good movie. It was a little bit campy, a little bit, but it was still a good movie. Marv from Sin City, like I talked about earlier. Sergeant Rock would have definitely made the list higher than 78. Captain Britain, another great character from the X-Men. Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler is just a fun character all the way around. Kazar would have made my top 50 list easy. And see, I'm surprised, Roy, that your favorite isn't She-Hulk over the Hulk. That makes me question some things. Moon Knight. Moon Knight is a great character, and even the Netflix series Moon Knight was great. You know, Ghost Rider Johnny Blaze is another good one, but I'm surprised he's way down the list at 90. Cerebus, the Aardvark, another great series. See, Supergirl made the list, but way down at 94. Savage Dragon would have been up higher than me on mine because Eric Larson is just awesome. He is eccentric and very strange, but he's pretty awesome. Wow. The rounding out the last of top 100 was Gru, the Samurai Warrior. Wow, that's kind of surprising that Gru made the list. Huh. And I didn't read every one of them that was in there because some of you wouldn't even know quite a few of the ones that I would have mentioned in there because they're obscure characters. And they come from different worlds of the Marvel and DC universe. Like Wildcat, an obscure character that I'm surprised even made the top 100 list, to be honest. Bone or Bone was the comic book. And it's just, that's just a comprehensive list that this person made of, what they thought as far as looking at all the information that still be my tops. And then I've got other characters that fall in line. And it doesn't fall in line with a lot of what other people think would be a great cast of characters. Like they had Superman at number one because he's been around the longest. And it's just a character I don't care for, just like we've already talked about. And it's just like, I want to see what this list is. This is the top best-selling comic books of all time. And you guys are hating me right now. So I'm knocking this shit around. And this is the top 9 alone. But then he adds in a few more, which are mangas and things like that. Which I'm surprised he doesn't have One Piece on this list. But when was this list made? This was back in 2014. So since then, a ton more copies have sold. But his top list in top sellers are Superman at number one, because again, been around the longest. Since 1938 was the first comic book out. Correction, the pulps were the first comics out, and then it went to the actual comic book. And number 2 is Batman. Number 3 is Spider-Man. Oh, number 4, he's got it One Piece. So he's way behind on his sales because again, this is 2014. Liz, you would have been 8 years old. Correct, in 2014, if you were born in 2006. The X-Men at number 5, so great comprehension right there. Captain America, I'm sorry, is in the list at number 6. Trenton, or 1010, sorry. I'm not sure if that's Ren 1010 or not, but Dragon Ball Z and the Phantom are their top 9. And then you've got 3 mangas that sold more than the Phantom, which was Go Glow 13, Blackjack, and Kochira Katsushika. I'm not even gonna. And then Naruto, of course. And then, of course, in the One Piece line, you've got Dragon Ball, Naruto, and One Piece. Batman has actually outsold Superman altogether. And Spider-Man's first appearance was back in 1962 in Amazing Fantasy, number 1. So, but he gives a pretty cool, comprehensive list of things, which Wolverine has more comic appearances than even Batman does, or Spider-Man, or Superman. But there you go. That's just one person's take back in 2014 on. And they did the research. They went and looked up, the single issues, how many comic appearances, so on and so forth. So that was pretty cool. I wish they would update their list from 2014. So, which is coming up on, quite a few years ago, because October 20th is when this list was made. So he needs to update that list, is what I would say. But and then they've got the best selling issues and comics by year and so on and so forth. But we're not going to get into all that. Well, all we really wanted to know was who was your favorite. Who was your favorite? Mine is obviously Wolverine, considering I posed and then drew myself as Wolverine. You know, the one that I was emulating and going to redo as well was the Forge one I did way back in, ancient times, Liz, ancient times, since you weren't even a twinkle in your daddy's eye when I did the piece. Um, and I wish I could find it. I wish it was sitting right here, but I don't think it is. It was here at one point in time. Like I said, it was here at one point in time. But I'm not seeing it right off the top of my head right now. So it's all good. I ain't even gonna fret and look for it. So there you go. But that is it for today, folks. We appreciate you guys, and I wish the nuts would kind of just stay home sometimes, you know, because this morning started out as a shit show. Let me tell you, and several people got blocked yet again, as they will every fucking time, especially with the one that was spouting off what he was spouting off way earlier. We don't tolerate that type of shit here. And yeah, if you know, you know. All you got to do is go back and read the comments. But that is it, folks. We appreciate each and everybody being here and checking out the channel. And don't forget to tell somebody you love them today, because tomorrow is not promised to anybody. And if you do need to talk, damn it, I didn't even put that on over here. My bad. Sorry, guys. I was supposed to put that up over here. You can text 988 if you're having issues and don't want to be above dirt anymore. Or you can call 1-800-273-8255. That is a prevention hotline. Or my DM is open. Because I know, me being one, we all go through something. And we all need that person to talk to. So, there you go. And as I like to say as I leave you guys, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.